Got it.
Okay, we're live. Hi, Lisa.
We are live recording.
How are you doing, Lisa?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
For all of you people out there, I'm Marshall, and
I'm Lisa.
So what are we doing here?
I don't think we really know, but we're just gonna go at it. We're just gonna get it out there. We want to talk about ownership today.
Taking ownership.
Taking ownership.
Well, listen, we don't really, this is our first show, first episode. This is right now the Lisa and Marshall show. We don't have an official name, but that's good enough. Sounds good to me.
Sounds great.
Tell our viewers, our listeners just a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Lisa. I am a business owner. I started my business in 2017. And somewhere along the lines, I just didn't feel like it was really in line with what I really wanted to do. And so I'm on this new journey to becoming a coach.
It's awesome. Awesome. And we actually have a lot in common.
We do.
And I don't wear a toque though.
I wait all summer for toque season.
But it's cold. I know it's cold outside. So I have, some of you know, I've had my business actually as of next week, November 7th, it's going to be 27 years.
Congrats.
I think that's probably almost older than you. Oh, I feel old.
Aged yourself.
Yes, exactly. And similar, like at one point, I still have the business, but at one point it wasn't fulfilling me. There was something more, and I decided to take ownership as well. And I started coaching and mentoring other small business owners. I've been doing that for 10 years. But so the ownership thing, I don't know, what do you want to talk about? Like where do you, was it your topic, my topic?
Apparently it was mine, but I don't remember. We talked about a lot of topics. I'm so excited to get them all out there, but we'll start here.
Awesome.
What's ownership to you, Marshall? What does that mean?
It's your topic. It was your topic.
All right.
No, taking ownership, taking control of your destiny. That sounds very serious. I think accountability. I think it means a lot of things. I think it could even mean the small little things, like with my employees. If they're watching, which they're probably not, I'll hear about it if they are.
They should watch.
They should. I'm gonna have to tell them.
Yeah.
Once we have a name, because it has to be,
Right.
But if I go see a client, this is in my sign and graphics company. If I go see a client and I'm like measuring things and doing all that kind of stuff, I'm not the most detailed person. For those of you who know me, you probably know that. So I make some mistakes on measurements. Okay, I'm not an architect, not an engineer, not an interior designer, and I take ownership because they'll come to me and it's a kind of inside joke, right? But I own it.
Right.
So for me, taking ownership is leadership.
That makes sense.
How about for you?
Very similar. I think I'd word it a little bit differently. When you say accountability, I think being accountable and holding yourself accountable just really means being honest with yourself 100%. And sometimes that takes a lot of strength to be able to do that, to be able to keep yourself in check. I think taking ownership of our actions in business and in life is really important. So, it's so easy to make excuses, but if you can hold yourself accountable and be honest with yourself and say, actually, I could have done this differently, or I can look at this differently. I think that's what ownership is to me.
Yeah, no, it's well said. Couldn't have said it better myself. Actually, I didn't say that. So very nice. I know one thing. So we're going to do this every week. I guess our thousands of listeners and viewers out there are probably wondering when's the next one, because they're already like excited about this conversation, right? So you can look forward to this every week, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And we're going to take ownership on that. So now we've put it in the calendar every week. I see it's a big topic, right?
Yeah.
I see a lot of entrepreneurs, or that's a big term, business owners, because not all business owners are entrepreneurs. That's for another segment. But I see a lot of business owners and non-business owners too, just people in life that don't take ownership. And it's like they live, I call it, it's not me, it's been termed by someone else. Someone else has a term for everything, right? We just sort of borrow them. So it's that they live a reported on life rather than a created life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and so like you asked me about taking ownership. I think there are people out there who will blame, obviously right now, the past 20 months.
Yeah.
So they'll blame the pandemic, they'll blame the government, they'll blame lack of staff, like labor shortages, for why their business is where it is. They'll blame everything else outside of their control. And that's the thing, right? It's outside of their control. You can't control the government, you can't control the pandemic, you can't control the labor shortages. You can only control what you can control. And that's taking ownership and saying, enough is enough. I'm going to take this. Let's look at it a different way. And I think it's huge, but you said it's not easy.
Yeah. And I think that's a good tip for any viewers. If you find yourself blaming, I think to take it inward and go, okay, I'm blaming something and I can't change it. What can I change? If you ask yourself that question, I mean, for every problem, there's a solution, and it may not be the best solution, but you always have options. There's always a different way to go about things.
So let's go more, not personal, but with us. So how are you? Okay, you talked about not being fulfilled, just like same thing with me. How did you take ownership of that and make the shift?
Yeah, okay, good question. I think that when I was putting a lot into something that didn't have a lot of meaning for me, I really needed to ask myself the question, am I doing this for myself? Am I taking ownership of my own life and kind of taking the path or the journey that I want? And when I actually was honest with myself about that, the answer was no. I was not living my best life, as they say, or running my best business. I mean, it was running fine, but
how did you come to that? Like and I can go over my process or time frame as well, but it's different for everyone. How long did it take, and how did you kind of make that shift and say, enough is enough? This is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it.
I realized at some point that I didn't feel positive when building my business. I felt like something was missing. It took me a long time to come to that conclusion, probably about a year.
Okay.
And how about you, Marshall? Because I'm not too sure what else to say on
that. 27 years. I'm being facetious. No, I went through different times. I've been through a couple of recessions, pretty much. Now the pandemic. It's interesting. Well, I started coaching. I started the training process 11 years ago. 11 years ago? 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So it was honestly about a 5-year time frame of not being fulfilled. I was always trying to get out. I
Right.
don't know if anyone else feels that way. Well, I know you do, but like our
Yeah.
listeners, right, or our viewers, I tried to get out. I had a 5-year plan when I started, which was in 1994, and here I am 27 years later. But I was trying to get out, and that was the thing. It was interesting when I stopped fighting. It's that fight or flight thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I stopped fighting, it wasn't that I was necessarily fulfilled.
Right.
This is going back before I started coaching. But when I stopped fighting it, fighting the getting out, or fighting the flighting, does that make sense? Fighting the flighting.
Yeah.
Everything started to change for me because I wasn't fighting anymore. It wasn't like I was just like giving in, but it's like, okay, this is where I'm at. How can I make it work?
Right.
How can I, and I, listen, we spoke about this before. I bought the passion test, find your passion and all these things. And that's okay. I know we're kind of deep, well, no, it's all taking ownership. That was the thing. I thought a book, here's the thing for me. I thought a book or a course was going to just do everything. I
Right.
thought finding my passion, because that was the big thing in probably earlier part of this decade. Right. And I'm not the passion test is a good book, but everyone started thinking you have to find your passion. And I spent years, seriously, okay, what's my passion? This is not my passion. What's my passion? Well, my passion is my family, right? So I'm not going to monetize my family, right? I mean, no, I'm not going to monetize my family. But then I realized that it was more purpose. That's when I figured it out. For me, it starts with purpose. What was my
Right.
purpose? And I don't know, the same thing for you. It goes way back before. It goes back to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I was always a mediator. I was always people would call me the stable one, the one that would actually help other people and listen. And it just came natural.
Yeah.
And I wanted everyone to be happy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And that we've had this conversation before, passion versus purpose. I mean, my passion is horses, and for me, I do prefer to keep my purpose and my passion separate. And for some people, they don't. And I think that's something that I struggled with too, was when I really asked myself with my business, why am I doing this? And it was to pay the bills. There was nothing else behind it. There was nothing else driving me. And I think that if you're not living your purpose, eventually you're going to run out of drive.
Yeah.
I mean, a business is going to be exciting. You're going to start it. It's going to be new and all this creation and everything that you're learning. And it's going to feel like you're fulfilled. But if there's no real you and there's no real why behind it all, I mean, you're going to run out of steam on it.
And I'm glad you said that, because there's a lot of, I know this is going to be seen and heard all over the place, different platforms, but there are a lot of new business owners.
Yeah.
Right now, young business owners, first year, especially since the pandemic, I've seen so many new business owners, people going out on their own, and they've kind of taken their job. It's like, I don't know if you've read The E-Myth, it's The E-Myth, right? They've taken their job and now they've started their own business doing their job.
Right.
And it's all exciting at the beginning. And one thing I do with my clients is like, and I know you do the same thing, it's really in different ways, is really finding out the why.
Yeah.
Which is the purpose. Why are you getting up every morning to do what you're doing? And what do you want to create? And I don't think a lot of people look at that.
Well, and sometimes they do, but are they really taking ownership in the way of being honest with themselves and saying, okay, I've created my why, but are you really feeling that? Like, is that really something that is just like, that's it, that feels like me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Well, yeah. And a mentor once said to me, I might have even mentioned it to you before, your why needs to make you cry. Right. And, I've said that to people before, and a few people go, what? That can't make me cry. And it's like, okay, but it's the idea of it. It has to be emotional, because if it's not, like, it's freaking hard.
Yeah.
Not just running a business, but just having a career, just getting up every day. Right.
Yeah.
And with all the crap around us with the news and this and that and whatever, it's, you really, if you want to accomplish anything, you need to take the time to really understand yourself and and just take ownership. Like, it goes back to that, taking ownership for your life.
Yeah.
Right. My daughter graduated university. Oh my gosh. No, not yet. She just started university. She graduated high school.
Is that a hidden fear?
That's a hit. Yes. Graduated high school last year, and her quote, because they all do quotes in the yearbook, right?
Yeah.
Her favorite quote. And her favorite quote is a Tony Robbins quote. And it was that life happens for you, not to you.
Oh yeah. I love that one.
And, it doesn't matter if you love Tony Robbins or dislike him or whatever, it's taking ownership. It's like, enough is enough. And it doesn't mean, we're not saying, if you're not, like, to people watching, I don't think you're saying, I'm not saying if you're not fulfilled in your business, doesn't mean you need to jump ship
Right.
and do something different. There might be something that you're missing, because we're so wofocused, right, on when our business, right? We've spoken about this. We're so focused on the daily things we're doing.
Yes.
We're so focused on our clients and making money and doing this and doing that and doing the business, as opposed to working on it and figuring out where we want to take it, and maybe align it more with, see, that's the thing. A lot of us have a why or a purpose for a business, and a lot of us have a why, or if you want to call it a mission, for our life.
Right.
And they're not, that was the thing with me. They weren't aligned for a while.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So that's where there was conflict, and I was not feeling fulfilled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm done. You go.
If, running a business or even working in business or a career or anything like that, there's going to be moments that are going to test you. There's going to be moments that are hard. There's going to be things that pop up that you do not expect. And if there's no meaning behind it, it has to be worth it to push through those moments. And I know this is on ownership, but I think that it's difficult to take ownership on something if it doesn't feel worth it. If it's, you can't push yourself through something if it's harder to do than to lose, right? So if it's easier to just give up, then that's what you're going to do. But if you have some real meaning behind it, and it feels worth it to you, you're going to push through and you're going to come out on top.
Yeah. No, I agree. So for people, okay, here's a simple question then.
Yeah.
Because everyone's out there listening, saying, okay, what do I do? Here's the thing. I don't think we're not here as experts. There's enough freaking experts in the world, right? It's like, just open your Facebook page, or, go open Google. There's enough experts. We're talking from experience.
Oh, we would just want to get people thinking.
Yeah. We want people thinking. What would you suggest if someone's in that sort of state, let's say, where they're stuck, right? Because you've been there, I've been there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know the labor, like, they can't find employees. The labor market, the labor market's really bad in certain sectors. And if you watch the news, it's horrible. It's like the pandemic, it's bad. And if you watch the news, it's horrible. Like, everything's magnified on the news for sure. But what would you, if people are looking at the outside and this isn't happening, this isn't happening, this isn't happening because of. Is it just a shift? Is it just like we can say, oh, just take ownership. Thanks for watching.
Right. Yeah. Get creative.
Yeah.
Get creative. What can I do? Not what can't I do? I mean, one of the things that I did to get creative when hiring was an issue was I had to ask myself, okay, what kind of staff do I want? And what kind of staff am I getting? And what are the people that I want thinking? What are they looking for? Back to that whole alignment thing. I mean, you're going to have to be in line. You're going to have to offer people something that they're going to want.
Yeah.
So if you're offering for this group of people, that's what you're going to get. So I know with my hiring, I got pretty creative, and I basically thought, I want people who are self-starters. I want people who know how to own their role. Okay, well, I have to offer that to them.
Yeah.
So I did basically, you get options for profit share, you get incentive for finding people, you get trained on how to train, I promote within, that kind of thing. So offering for the right audience. I mean, if we're talking hiring specifically, was how I got creative with it. And it took me a while to come up with that, but I mean, it may seem obvious, but sometimes you get a little bit too into it and you get tunnel vision.
Well, yeah, 100%. You get stuck in the maze, right? Or
Yeah.
in the forest, you can't see out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's all sorts. Yeah, it comes. I mean, you can outsource depending on what your industry is. I know we had like in our Sonic Graphics business, August was like ridiculously busy. We did twice the sales that we normally do in a month, and one of my key production guys was away for 5 weeks, and my production manager was away for 2 weeks. So we had to get creative. We had to, instead of saying, and I didn't know August was going to be that busy. We found someone. We did hire someone. We took a chance on this person, but then we ended up outsourcing a lot of our work,
Right.
in order to, because we still couldn't do it.
Well, you had to take ownership.
We had to take ownership. What can we do? We could just say no to the work, or we can keep part of it and do part of it, control part of it, and then outsource the other part. That you have to get resourceful, right?
Absolutely.
But again, it starts with us. Starts with each of us, and it goes back to leadership. It just being the leader, and taking ownership. Like, this is it. Enough. I can do this. It's not what can't I do? It's what can I do? Because a lot of the times it's not we're asking the wrong questions. If you're not getting the answer you want, ask a different question.
Yes. And I think that you nailed it when you said, you were struggling for a few years and you just didn't feel like something was missing. And you asked yourself the question, basically, who am I? You didn't word it in that way, but you did. You asked yourself that question to find your purpose, which is, who am I? What do I find myself doing when I'm with my friends or with my family? What comes naturally to me? And is that, the peacekeeper, right? So I think sometimes we overcomplicate that question and we think too hard about it. And I think it's just a matter of looking at it objectively. How do other people see me? Because it is so hard for us to see those things in ourselves. And objective thinking is very difficult because, we're all just kind of seeing things from our own eyes, right? And I think if you think about what comes naturally to you, you're going to find your purpose. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to get there, but if you want to break it down into some advice, it really is that simple.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I agree. And I think overall, everything, I think leading a business is simple. It's not easy. There's a difference. It's not
Yeah.
easy. Like, it's not easy, but I think we complicate things. We all complicate things. We do things the way we do things because society does it or expects it a certain way. There's a huge opportunity, and that's the thing. There's a huge opportunity for all of us if we just really, yes, take ownership and all that stuff, but we just slow down
Yeah.
and take the time to really think about what it is that lights us up, what it is, which is really passion comes from purpose,
Right. It does.
right? So I saw Oprah in concert. I saw Oprah live about 7 years ago or something, 6, 7 years ago. She said um, she believes that everyone is brought or born with a job, and their job is to find their purpose.
Yeah. That
And
makes
she said,
sense.
if you can monetize your purpose, great. Not everyone can, but I remember she said that, and it wasn't passion; it was purpose. And as I researched it more and experienced it more, like everything we're talking about here is from experience.
Yeah.
We're not these like scholars, because right. I mean, this is life. This is maybe that's the name of our show, Life with Lisa and
Life and
Marshall.
business with
Life and
Marshall and Lisa.
yeah, no, Lisa and Marshall. Got to go, Lisa and Marshall.
All right.
I know you're younger, and it's like everything's different now, but it's still Lisa. It's got to be fair. Like, I'm the old school, Lisa, and it sounds better too, right? What do you guys think? People, hey, here's the
Yeah.
thing.
Let
Here's the
us know.
thing.
Give us a name.
What's the name? What do you want the show to
Oh,
call? Whose name goes first? Yeah.
good question.
So, yeah, before we should have said that at the beginning. We're going to say it more often because people are watching this, whether it's YouTube or on Facebook or somewhere else. If you're listening to the podcast, then you can't necessarily do it. You can share it and all that kind of stuff. But comment below as much as you can, like your takeaways from all this stuff. And are you taking ownership? And it should be my name first or Lisa's name first. And guys, seriously, what do you think of the toque?
Yeah. You like the toque.
Maybe do you have other colors? I'm not saying
I
nothing
do.
wrong.
I almost wore purple. I almost
Okay.
wore a purple toque today.
Purple toque.
You know
Not an
me.
orange?
I'm an outside gal, so
It's the
I got
Halloween
my
week. What about the orange? I thought you were gonna like dress up today.
I don't have an orange toque.
Oh,
There is a Mario costume right there though, but I won't put it on. But that would have been hilarious. But the thing is, we're
okay.
not releasing it on Halloween, so then it
No,
would just look hilarious.
for Halloween week. No, you know what? Maybe we need to redo this. Maybe we should just scrap this all and just re-record this and then.
Redo it in the I mean, I am Italian. It's me, Elisa.
Oh yeah, I got it. Waluigi, what about that? That's from,
Well, you have to get a Luigi one.
okay, but I'm not okay.
I'll
do it.
dress my dog up as Yoshi.
Okay. I don't know who that would be. Could be Luigi. Okay. So who's your favorite Mario Kart character? Put that in the comment box as well.
Yeah, put that down there.
Okay.
But seriously though, feedback in the comments is good because I don't know if anyone can tell, but we didn't script this, we didn't plan, we decided to just jump in, see what happens. And we're hoping.
That's it. Life and business unscripted or
Ooh,
something. Oh,
ooh.
well, that doesn't.
I
We gotta
like the
work on that.
unscripted part though.
Well, I used to have because I've gone through millions of alliterations. I don't know.
I don't know.
Of different Facebook lives. And when I started, like about 5 years ago, I think it was called Unscripted.
I like it.
Then I changed it. So, but we can call it Business and Life Unscripted with Lisa Marshall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something. Viewers, you have to let us know what you think. We're literally just sitting here brainstorming.
Yeah, we're just going with it. And also topics too. We have a whole whack of stuff we're going to talk about.
We've got tons.
But you got something that you want to hear about and maybe be inspired by, these, you know, years and years, these seasoned business veterans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
One more question. If you could give one piece of advice for the viewers on how to take ownership of finding your purpose, one actionable advice.
Oh, come on. You didn't.
One tool that you can share, what would it be?
Oh, see, it's unscripted. Oh, thanks.
Oh, I caught you off guard. Okay, I'll do one.
No, oh, no, you asked me.
I know you have an answer for this. I just caught you off guard.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's unscripted. Maybe that's what we're doing. I would, to find your purpose. Is that what the question is?
Yeah, we were talking about overthinking.
Can you please repeat the question? I would suggest that, well, on a higher level, get outside of your own head. But realize, first of all, that you have the answers. And this is a coachy thing. You have the answers within you. You really do. It's not in a book. So it's not in a book. It's within you. So I really think, listen, I know you go visit Lisa. Okay, won't put your address in the box, chat box.
Do not.
But like, get on a freaking horse. Oh, I gotta tell the horse story one day. Okay, we're gonna.
Oh, I know. I thought of that.
Do we? How much time do we have? I didn't take ownership. Okay, I'm not doing that today.
We will.
But I would say, seriously, think back. You can, whether you do through meditation, it's basically slow down. This is what I would suggest. Slow down, go somewhere peaceful for you. Maybe it's with Lisa and the horses. Doesn't have to be Lisa, but maybe go around horses or nature, get outside in nature. If you have a fireplace, put on the fireplace or whatever. If it's wood burning, you have to light it. Whatever it is for you, really gets almost just be with yourself.
Zen out.
Not music. Like people say, oh, I go on walks and all stuff and listen to music. For me, when I go on walks, my thinking is me.
Yes.
And I love to think. Three different ways is my creative way. Meditating, it really gets me going to getting outside of my own head, and then so I can get inside and really think and go deep. Going for a walk, no music. Works for me. And
listen
also
to the birds.
Listen to the birds. And I also am weird. I love driving at night, as long as it's not pouring rain. Just love driving at night. No music, just driving, right? But that's the whole thing. Just go somewhere where you can really be with yourself and your thoughts, and almost think back to what made you happy when you were younger.
Yes.
Success leaves clues. Success leaves clues, right?
Yes.
And I mean, you can read any if you want to read a book, Simon Sinek, any of his why books are really good. But honestly, just think back to the times that you were really fulfilled and happy. And what were you doing?
I love it.
And bring it forward. How can you, whatever you're doing now, how can you weave that into it? What do you need to do to bring some of that forward? And then taking ownership. Well, the question was about purpose, though, right?
Well, yeah, it was how do you, because I mean, we talked about ownership being more possible long term if you know what your purpose is and if that's what you're taking ownership of. So, we kind of went back a step to go, in order to be able to take ownership on the long term, you really need to be focusing a lot of energy on your purpose. So that was a great actionable, actually there was 3 there: meditating, driving.
Well, that's the modality. That's how you can get into that state. How about for
Yeah.
you?
I would say never underestimate the power of pen and paper. Write it down. It's so hard to gain clarity when everything is up here and it's just kind of firing. So I really think that writing it down, and then that way you can give yourself permission to not keep repeating a thought. For me anyways, once it's on paper, I can give myself permission to go, okay, it's there. I don't need to remember it.
Right.
It's right there when I need it. And it just, once you can look at it and go, oh, and then you can kind of connect the dots in a sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, never underestimate the power of pen and paper. That would be my actionable advice.
So if you take my steps first, not because it's a Marshall and Lisa show, it's not, it's Lisa and Marshall show, I think, to get into that state. Because sometimes we
Yes.
need to get outside of our head, right? It's like just for me to sit here right now and think about, you know, so for me, and that's the thing, and that's why these books can help you a little bit, right?
Right.
But everyone is different.
Yeah.
So some people will say, hell yeah, give me a pad of paper and a pen, and I'm just going to just brain dump everything I'm thinking. Other
Right.
people need to get to a state where they're not thinking so, what's the word? You know what I mean? I can't even think.
Logically?
Yeah, logically,
Yeah.
right? They're overthinking,
Yeah.
right? So just really just imagine, like just, even if it's just closing your eyes and meditate, or closing your eyes and you can breathe, do the breathing thing, but close your eyes and just think back to, and this is really powerful, think back to a really happy moment in your life and
Yeah.
visualize it.
Right.
And that can be very powerful. Like it can be really, really powerful. And I think you're right. I think the more we take, the more it's easier to take. Here's the thing. It's really hard to take ownership on something you really don't give a shit about.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
So true.
So that's why we keep going back, and this was not scripted. We keep going back to purpose, which I think was a topic for something else, for another one.
I know, but it just went where it went, right?
I just realized, like, if you really don't give a shit, I mean, like, not here, because you give a shit here, it's here.
Yeah.
If your heart's not in it, like you said at the beginning, right? Your heart's not in it. So you didn't really give a shit about growing your business.
Exactly.
Wasn't exciting to you, so if you don't give a shit, you're not going to take ownership.
Yeah.
Ownership shit. So figure out how to give a shit.
Right. And yeah, utilize your purpose to your advantage, because that's who you are.
Yeah.
Excitement will go away if you're not, I know this sounds cheesy, but if you're not being who you are, and if you're not in line with who you are, and you're not letting that part of yourself out there in the world, I mean, your business may lose its flame. Doesn't mean you have to shut it down or get rid of it, but make sure you're adding that in, because you know, otherwise you're just depriving yourself of being who you really are. And maybe that should be another episode.
There's a lot of content, a lot of info.
So much.
It does go back to, I mean, I know a lot of people who are watching this might be newer business owners, and they're saying, I don't, and they're probably turned us off already, so they're not even hearing this. It's your loss. But if you're still here with us, thank you. And bless you.
Thank you.
We acknowledge you for that. Mom, hi, Mom.
Yeah, right.
Or
Hi, Nana.
one viewer. But if, you know, they might be thinking, I don't know what they're talking about. I love my business. I'm so excited every day because I get to create my business, and it's what I've wanted to do, and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And that's great. You're in the honeymoon phase. It will fade.
Yes.
Okay, it will fade. I loved, when I started back in the day, 1994, everything about opening my first shop, right? The first business. I went in on Saturdays and I did all the bookkeeping myself. I had no idea what bookkeeping, like the counting was, like bookkeeping, but I taught it myself. And every Saturday I went in for like 4 to 6 hours. This was before kids, did it all.
Yeah.
I loved it because it was my baby,
Yeah.
my baby, doing it for my baby.
Yeah.
And about a year in, it started to become draining.
Yeah.
Not the business itself, but the activities I was doing in the business.
Yeah.
So it will fade, but if you stick with and really understand why you're doing what you're doing, now the bookkeeping you shouldn't be doing, you should be get outsourcing that. That's for another conversation.
As soon as you can, yes.
Another conversation. But really figure out what floats your boat, what gets you going, what you want to create, and it is you.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. This is my last tip or tidbit or from experience. Like, so Michael Gerber, I saw him speak. So he's the author of The Myth.
Right.
And for any of you entrepreneurs, business owners out there, especially if you're new, read the book. As far as books go, the concept of the book is gold. And it's basically the employee starting their own business and working in it, not on it. So the concept is gold. But so there's about 500 of us he spoke to at a conference like in 1997 or something. And he said, this is all about taking ownership. And he walked around the room. He wasn't on this big stage. He was right level with us. He walked around the room and he said, the reason your business is not where you want it to be, or your business is failing, it's not because of basically what we just said. It's not because of the government. It's not because of the economy. It's not because of this. It's not because of lack of resources. It's not because of that. The only reason your business isn't where you want it to be is because of you. And everyone went, oh, well,
how dare he?
But here's the thing. That's the best news you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can become aware of that, you're in control.
You're in control.
Yes.
I'm done. Over to you.
Over to me. Okay. Well, I think if someone came to me and we were talking about you saying probably clear your mind and do the walk first before the pen and paper thing. If anyone wants to double down, grab your notebook, grab your pen, grab a drink that you like, go for your walk. When you feel like your head is clear, sit down by a tree or something, do your journaling, come back. I bet you'll feel great.
Awesome.
So if you want to double down on our advice, integrate them. I'm all about integration.
Awesome. So for our one listener or viewer.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anyone is actually watching, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, share, like, subscribe, tell everyone.
Yeah.
No.
If you think that anyone can find this useful who may not have seen it, please share it. Yeah.
And again, we really would love to hear back from you. We just for us,
feedback.
Okay. Look, forget about me. Look at Lisa. She's a really sweet person. And she wants to know that you're out there and that you're watching. So do I. And that, someone's listening to us. So
feed our egos. Just
feed our egos. Just say, yeah, I'm here. You don't have to say anything else. Just even a smiley face or a thumbs down. If you want to give us that, as long as we know someone's watching.
Maybe the title of this will be nice, skip to the end, and comment at least.
Yeah. No.
I'm joking.
You can miss all those beautiful tidbits we talked about.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, we're gonna call it for now, but feedback is welcome, sharing is welcome, and we look forward to sharing more content.
Yes. Have an amazing week, everyone. We will do this again next week.
Different
colored toque though. I might wear a hat.
I'll try for the purple.
Good stuff.
Good.
Take ownership.
Take ownership. Ta-ta for now.